Hey everybody! Thanks so much for watching. So, I was just looking at the Infinity War trailer, that just came out, and I'm honestly trying to figure out if I'm just burnt out on trailers at this point. I'm definitely not burnt out on superhero movies. I was worried about that. Thor Ragnarok actually kind of restored my interest in them. I haven't seen Black Panther yet. Not for lack of trying, but just a time thing, and so we haven't had many evenings free. In the evenings that we have had free, I've been wanting to spend with the kids, and so we saw Coco, which was fantastic. It was great. That But Black Panther's not really one I want to sit down with them on. So that has not happened yet. But we did get to see Ragnarok, and it was fantastic. It was great. I was really happy with it. I can tell you something I am definitely burnt out on is Marvel jokes. I you know when they were when when the movies were action movies with some humor in them, like Iron Man, like Avengers, I was cool. When it was just one, one seriously funny movie amongst a lot of moderately funny movies and sometimes not funny movies, which was the case when the first Guardians came out. That movie distinctly stepped up the humor, but the rest of the series was more diverse in their tone. I loved it then. When Guardians exploded, and the rest of the movies tried to be Guardians, and I'm looking at you, Ant-Man. That's I just I'm much more interested in an action film that's funny rather than a comedy with some action in it. And I think that's been a big misstep. One of the reasons it took me so long to see Ragnarok, there's actually a couple reasons. First of all, is because the fact that all the gods don't die is not Ragnarok, but okay. Comic book and mythology nerd reasons aside, I didn't want another another Marvel comedy that had some action in it, and that's what all the reaction that I was seeing. And now that I'm going through the reviews actually piecemeal, I'm seeing that that's not actually the reaction to it, but that's kind of the reaction they were presenting, was that this was the funniest Marvel movie yet, and it distinctly was not. Half the jokes just did not land at all. A lot of the jokes were really, really funny. Jeff Goldblum's character was great. He was hilarious. So some of the jokes, like Korg, I thought Korg was hilarious. Some of my friends did not like him, but I thought he was hysterical. A lot of the other jokes just didn't land, but those weren't the best parts about Ragnarok. The action was the best part of Ragnarok, and the just overwhelming eye candy with Zeppelin playing in the background. It's just an adrenaline rush. It was great. And so I liked Thor despite my expectations, probably because it did not meet what I was expecting it to do. And so that I was happy. I was happy because I'm not finding Marvel movies all that funny anymore. They have moments, but all the stuff that's supposed to be really, really funny is either I either didn't like, a la Guardians 2, a la Ant-Man, or they I liked them despite them not being funny. But in any case, I'm not finding them funny. And so there's a lot to this trailer I really liked, but it is interrupted by humor that is just killing the mood for me. The conversation between Skylord and Star-Lord, the conversation between Star-Lord and Iron Man, for example, it's okay. It's not. I would find it okay in the movie itself, but at this point, it's outside of its context. I'm not really. I didn't laugh, and it's killing kind of the epicness of everything else. The funnier one was the Strange and Spider-Man one, but even that I didn't, this wasn't a ha-ha laugh. That was just kind of like, oh, that's kind of an interesting, that's an interesting thing when these two particular characters meet and what they might say to one another. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And also, Spider-Man and Strange are actually two of my favorite pairings, one of my favorite pairings in the comics. And so I just like it when Strange is paired with darn near anybody. I think he's great, but in particular, Spider-Man, I think is particularly effective in the comics, and so that was cool, but not overly funny. And so I think at the end of the day, this asset that Marvel had from the beginning, that DC has struggled with a lot. And as big of a Zack Snyder fan as I am, he's not funny. He's not. And that's not why I go see his movies, so I'm okay with that. But he doesn't do well with humor in his films. But that has been an asset that Marvel's had, that they've been able to really punctuate their movies with these sudden, unexpected, really, really funny parts that have been great. And I think that asset is starting to become a liability. And I think it started with Guardians. As great as that film was, I think it sent the wrong message to Marvel as a whole, that we need to do more of this instead of letting Guardians be Guardians. One of the reasons I love Cap movies so much is that it's because they are doing not Marvel. This is the range that Marvel is doing. Cap jumps way over here. And I've really appreciated that, and I've really liked it, and they've done it really well. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't want to be different just to be different. You want to do different well, to make it unexpected, but also make it good. And the good is probably the more important part of that. But it's been my feeling, and not having seen Black Panther, I wonder if not having that movie is kind of tainting my perception of it, because from everything I'm hearing about Black Panther, maybe Black Panther is kind of pushing the Marvel range over toward what Cap has been doing. But it seems like they've been narrowing their focus, and as the battles have been getting bigger, the humor has becoming a bigger part. It's been harder and harder for them to do epic battle well, and it's been also harder for them to do humor well. And seeing the Ant-Man 2 trailer is one of the things that just is really kind of worrying me, honestly. It's I mean, there's some funny parts in that, but it just seems like the same post Guardians Marvel formula. That has concerned me. So, the first Infinity War trailer actually excited me a lot. I thought it was awesome. This one is exciting me less, but this is not something I'm going to miss. It's still something I'm excited for, and so I will be checking that out, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.